super bright. Let's fix that here a little bit. There we go. Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. My name is Brandy and this is Jeff to my right. We are doing this from the car today because we do have an event that we run on Thursdays. So, our purpose is to give you the skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. And we are going over John Maxwell's 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. And we are on quality number 12, which is passion. Take this life and love it. John says, when a leader reaches out in passion, he's usually met with the answer of passion. A leader that I like to use as an example of this is actually Tony Robbins. Those of you who don't know him, I highly recommend that you go listen to a few of his talks. Hello, good morning, James. Whenever he speaks, he is so passionate about what he is talking about. It adds excitement, because if you're talking with somebody and they're just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's okay. There's not as much excitement there. People like to follow passionate leaders rather than somebody's. So they want to follow someone's like, hey, how's it going? How is your family? People who are more excited about what they're doing. People like to follow excitement. So, with that, sorry, I'm trying to see my spot. The sun is like right there, so it's a little hard for me to see. What makes it possible for people who might seem ordinary to achieve great goals? The answer is passion. Nothing can take the place of passion in a leader's life. So we're going to take a look at the 4 truths about passion and what you can do to increase that as a leader. And Jeff, I will have you take this part over, and I'm going to turn this camera around. Hi, Chris. How's it going? All right.
All right, guys, what's happening? Jeff Gamble, Indianapolis. The MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show was actually next. What are you doing? Taking away my stuff. So, a couple things about passion. Passion is the first step to achievement, so you're going to have some passion in your life to make things happen. I don't know what's going on. So, Dan's with us. What's happening? So, anyone who lives beyond an ordinary life usually does so with passion. If you look at the people who make things happen, usually they're passionate about whatever they're doing. Now, passion can be an internal thing about showing up every day, using your talents, using your skill. Passion also increases your willpower to kind of move forward and get things done. Passion changes you as a person. The more you get into whatever you're doing, the better it goes. Passion makes the impossible possible, simply because, you're able to push harder when you have the energy to do so. So, passion can actually be almost quantified if you ask somebody, who's somebody's passion from somebody who's not. Usually it has to do with the speed at which they talk, the volume at which they talk, the intensity of which they talk. Their movements tend to be a little bit more exaggerated. And, Brandy talked about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is a great one. John Maxwell's like that. John necessarily isn't that super fast moving. I mean, a lot of times he sits at a chair when he actually does all of his seminars, but you don't question his passion for what he's doing because his commitment level is so high. So it's different for everybody on how they're passionate. But he says, bringing it home, to increase your passion, follow this. Take your temperature. How passionate are you about your work, your life, what you do? Jeff sort of is like Tony Robbins. More intense, yeah. Dave Barker's with us. What's happening, sir? So, take the temperature. How passionate are you? Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the volume at which, you do things? What is the intensity at which you do things? What is the speed at which you do things? A lot of people would say that has a lot to do with your passion and or charisma. It says return to the first love, like whatever you really liked about what you're doing, that's what you need to focus on the most. And then it says associate with people of passion. I believe Tony Robbins is the way he is because of some of the people he's around. If you look at some of his mentors, Jim Rohn and people like that, it's amazing how that works. Have a event today in Salon, watch tomorrow. Okay. So Kenesha's with us. Hello. And then it's basically the takeaway. here's the takeaway of how this works with what you're doing. Some people, initially, when you get into direct sales and you start doing anything, they'll ask the question, in their mind. They're not going to ask you out loud. How committed is this person to what they're doing? How passionate are they? When you're out and involved in something and you're doing it every once in a while, that doesn't necessarily translate into you're really passionate about it. But when you start doing it daily and every day, you're involved, every day you're pushing, every day you're contacting somebody, every day you're having a conversation with somebody, every day you're posting about what you're doing, people start picking up that you're passionate about what you're doing. Now, inside of Legal Shield, that can translate a couple different ways. If you start finding out about membership stories and you started, online doing a Facebook Live every day, and you said, hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about this person who was able to use their membership, because there is tons of testimonials online about people using it. Always throw out the disclaimer that you're not an attorney and you can't make the decisions the attorneys make, but here's another person who used it. I liked the phrase, we were talking about this the other day, about using the 101 reasons why somebody should use an attorney. They were like, man, if you went on every single day and talked about one of the reasons how you could use this, think about the compounding effect of that over time. Every single day for 101 days, you would do a video talking about one of the 101 ways to use the membership. What would be best is talk about use the membership and then go find a story that relates to that membership and say, here's another way somebody did this. If you did it 101 days in a row, the question is what do you think people would equate that to passion-wise? Man, this person must be really into whatever they're doing. People join people who are passionate about what they're doing. People follow people who are passionate about what they're doing. If you don't have the following yet, what you want to do is jump into activity, and activity can translate into passion. In fact, that's usually the fastest way to be identified or notified that you are passionate about something, is the activity that you're actually using. Donald, what's happening? So how often are you talking about it? How often are you going into it? Charles, what's happening? So I got identified this really early. In the beginning, a lot of people didn't even know I was involved the first time around. When I first jumped into Legal Shield, a lot of people didn't know. Well, back then it was prepaid. When I first jumped into prepaid legal, a lot of people didn't even know I was involved. In fact, for about the first year, people didn't know I was involved, because the only people I actually discussed it with were people that had credit issues that I was helping get back on track. And I basically worked it, and eventually finally got it off the ground. And all the ideas came together. And then when I decided to make a run, I decided to do a lot of activity in a very short period of time. And sometimes you have to sit back and you have to learn what you need to know, and then all of a sudden you can take off. And when you take off and it really starts going, all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, you've always been passionate about that. Well, the reality is no, I was only passionate about it for a very short period of time. But when I finally decided to make that run, that's what happened. Sorry, I had to move the camera. It's sitting in the sun, and it looks like it's burning up. So, Andrew, what's happening? Iman just jumped on. Charles, hope things are going well. I saw the podcast. Looks like you guys are doing some things. Is a mortgage company still rolling as well? You guys are doing a little bit of everything. We'll catch up here soon. But, credit-wise, I started using Legal Shield's membership or prepaid back in the day to fix people's credit, to be able to help them get back on track, so that way they could basically buy a home, get a mortgage, get a car. And I wasn't so much passionate about the company or the product or them signing up, but I was passionate about getting people back on track. That was the desire, is to get people back on track, make sure that they were succeeding in life. And that translated into a bunch of people joining. That translated into, obviously, huge financial success, being able to close people out to get mortgages, to be able to move forward in whatever part of their life. So that's how I was personally able to use this and why it worked out so well. But this is a short one today. We actually have to run in to our event here, our luncheon. So I appreciate everybody for jumping on. Brandy, any last words?
Be sure to type in the comments replay if you are watching the replay, and also type in where you guys are plugging in from. Type in Indiana, Wisconsin, wherever you guys are from, put it in the comments so we can see where you guys are plugging in. So with that, we are going to close out, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.